Hey, everybody, it's Major League Baseball free pick time on TGIF with America's sweetheart, Sean Salisbury, and the Sean Salisbury Show over there at iHeartRadio. And, of course, follow him at Sean Unfiltered. Always a good read, always fun because Sean will interact with you as well if you make a valid point and they're a stand-up guy. So be sure and check him out there. We're talking funky totals. A total that you don't see a lot in Major League Baseball, and it is 5.5 on the total today, 2.5 on the first 5 innings between the Mets and the Padres here, and a couple of studs going at it. The Cy Young winner, I'm just going to go ahead and say it right now, Jason DeGrom, Sean, a 0.61 ERA, 0.52 whip. This guy is 7-0, undefeated this year in first 5 inning unders, taking on Blake Snell, pardon me, say that fast 3 times, who last time he pitched against the Mets on June 4th, took a no-hitter into the 7th inning, Sean. Do you think this 5.5 total is warranted in this game?
I think it's too high. I think it's too high. At a time this year, honestly, batting averages, and I was really interested in what Mets hitter Pete Alonso, the former Rookie of the Year, said about the timing of what Major League Baseball does when, like, we have a boatload of shortstops that are, just so good, right? From Carlos Correa and Trevor Story. And we got all kinds of, obviously, Lindor has signed his big contract. We got a bunch of shortstops in baseball that are free agents that are going to be the hot topic position. Corey Seager, obviously, with the Dodgers. Yeah. And he made a great point, Tony, in saying, well, it's cyclical with baseball. If you're a great hitting year, what do? They deaden the baseball so those guys don't get paid as much in free agency, right? And then he said, well, when the pitchers are dominant, what do? Well, you liven up the baseball. If they're a bunch of free agents and you liven up the baseball so it's flying all over. So those guys don't go out and break the market when it comes to pay. Now, I don't know if it's a conspiracy theory, but I'm kind of liking what Pete Alonso said. It seems like, pitchers are free agents. Let's get that baseball live so we have 60 home runs. The hitters are free agents. Well, we don't want 8 shortstops making $250 to $300 million a year. Why don't we deaden that baseball? Now, I don't know if it's true, but I found it pretty interesting. And also with this, Tony, with the doctoring of the baseball substance stuff we've been talking a lot, you would think that it'd be tendency and we know it's fairly rampant. I mean, those guys basically admit it, that are they worried about people watching them too closely, so do they back off? I don't know. We got a lot of conspiracy theories on this. One thing that's not a conspiracy theory is how good both these pitchers are. Blake Snell, who's a former Cy Young winner in the American League in Tampa, and now at the Padres, gives them one of the deepest, best staffs in the league. And Jacob DeGrom, well, when you think Mike Trout, we always say, of course he's going to be in the MVP or win it. Of course he's the best player in baseball. With Jacob DeGrom, and this is saying something when you got Max Scherzer, when you've got Garrett Cole, when you got Walker Buehler, that it is Jacob DeGrom and then it's everybody else. Yeah. And there is a distance. This dude, if he had run support, he'd win 20. He'd be Denny McLain. He'd be 20 Vita Blue, 25 old school, right? Tony, when you and I were watching the Baltimore Orioles get 4 20-game winners on the same staff back in the 70s or late 60s, early 70s, that DeGrom would be like 27-3 with a .95 ERA if he had run support. But this is the case. There's a reason this number is so low. We got 2 of the best, a lefty and a righty, that are friggin' dominant. This is a 2-1 game. Both of them are capable of throwing a no-no every time they show up. DeGrom is the very best. Low scoring. I don't know who's going to win it, but I know damn well I'm taking the under in this. I love the under in this, and I love both these pitchers. You probably shouldn't see bullpen help. If you do, until late 7, 8 innings for one or both. I like a low-scoring game, one that's going to have to be one late. It may not be on either one of these pitchers. Take the under.
Yeah, and I'm going to go ahead and bump it up to the first 5 innings under 2.5.
Fair enough.
Definitely going to have their best stuff. And one thing about Snell, coming over from Tampa Bay, he didn't look good out of the gate for San Diego. So if you're looking at season-long stats, at this point in time in Major League Baseball, you're doing yourself a disservice when you're handicapping baseball games. Because as you know, as well as most people out there, Sean, it's kind of right here, right now. And you mentioned the word cyclical. And the best thing I can tell you about day-to-day sports or sports where they play 3 or 4 games a week, like the NBA, college basketball, Major League Baseball, even the NHL, you need to look at last 3 and last 5 games. And you look at recent form with pitchers, because they do go in cycles. They go in good cycles and they go in bad cycles. And Snell, the last 3 starts, including his last one, has been absolutely a shutdown pitcher. And you put him up against DeGrom. DeGrom is the only guy that you can make an exception to that rule, Sean. He's not cyclical. This guy's a freaking stud every time he toes the rubber.
Yeah, he's a freak.
Yeah.
Tony, he just is. He's one of those guys that you plug all the stuff into a computer and you say, this dude's coming out. Something's wrong with the computer. Oh, he's too good, right? It's like seems fake, like we're doing it's like a movie, an animated movie of, it's nuts, or we're putting the best of, right? That when you watch him pitch, you're thinking, oh, you grabbed an inning from that game and you grabbed that. Normally what we do for all the other cats in the league. With this dude, it's like, this is him there's nothing. The only thing about him is he's always consistently good. And we always consistently talk about how consistently good he is. He's a phenomenal pitcher, and you are right. He's the exception to most pitchers' rule. There is put it this way. When he has a game that isn't real good, it's usually better than most guys that are good. And when he's not real good at all, we're scratching our head like, what is it? We're going to have a full moon 47 days in a row. That's not right. Something's not right with DeGrom.
Right.
And Snell's starting to pitch like you talk about those 3 to 5 starts like he did when he was winning the Cy Young. So you may be getting the best of both worlds, and both of them, there's always that little side battle too. You get 2 Cy Young guys. They want to go out and battle each other. 2 teams that expect to have high expectations going into the season. And quite frankly, 2 guys that want another Cy Young. And we know that, but you're going to have to do a lot to take it from DeGrom. I'm with you. He is the best way to describe him. He's filthy, and he makes it look way too easy. It's not supposed to look that easy. I like the under, and I like where you're going with early 5 innings, taking 2.5 or taking the number. I'm with you. I think you're going to hitters. This is one I'll tell you. Let me tell you one quick story about this. Just not about this, but our buddy John Kruk, Krucker's one of the all-time great people, right? I'm talking to him in the ESPN newsroom. We're doing TV one time, Tony. It's a handful of years ago. And he was talking about his hitting coach, Walt Reniak. And I know you know that name. Longtime Charlie Lau disciple, the one hand off the bat stuff, right? So Krucker's in the dugout, and he goes, he's in the dugout, and he looks at during batting practice and before the game, and he goes, Walter. He called him Walter. He goes, hey, Walter. What do we have today with what do you think about this day against Clemens? They were facing Clemens. And Reniak looks at him as the hitting coach. He goes, we got no damn chance today, Krucka. We got absolutely no chance today with that cutter and that fastball. He goes, we got no chance against Clemens. Now, this is your hitting coach. And the way Kruk describes it makes it look, he's so animated. I'm like, this is your hitting coach and one of the great hitting instructors, and Kruk, one of the great hitters. Walter, what do we got today? Clemens. We got no shot today, Kruk. You're going into a game and you know already when Clemens is at his best, you're not hitting him. That's DeGrom right now. When he's at his best, all you do is close your eyes and hope you put some wood on the bat, and that's a tough thing to do.
Yeah, no surprises tonight, folks. Sean's taking the under 5.5 for the game total. There's a reason why you got to lay $135 in the first 5 innings to go under 2.5, because DeGrom has unbeaten this year with that stat. I'm going to ride that wave. You got another twofer, just like our NBA video. Check Sean out over at iHeartRadio with the Sean Salisbury Show, the best in sports talk radio in the country. And, of course, at Sean Unfiltered. Check me out at Doc Sports. Take advantage of that free $60. Got a big 7-unit game of the month today in Major League Baseball. So come on over and enjoy that and have a great weekend, folks. Thanks for tuning in.